What's up, guys? It's Catchy Up and Mustard here, giving you another sort of predictions video for tomorrow's Pro League for North America and EU/CIS. So game number one immediately for EU and CIS is going to be Foxy Grandpa and Mr. Aquari. These guys have fought before a whole bunch of times throughout all the seasons. And as of recently, Foxy's he's lost one time in Challenger Cup, but to Aquari, but other than that, it's been quite dominant. I think Foxy taking on Harry Nightmare and Aquari and doing well versus both of them. I think the safest bet is definitely that I think Foxy's probably going to take this one, but I mean, it's the safe bet, I suppose.
I wouldn't even say it's just a safe, smart pick anymore. Like I know we said a couple of weeks back that Aquari's beat Foxy lately, but that's one time in there. How many times has Foxy beat Aquari now? And obviously I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. It's just pointing out how many times these guys have fought in tournament since MKX came out. And Aquari winning once is great, but it doesn't hold a candle to the amount of times that Foxy has beaten him. And as of late, Foxy has beaten Aquari convincingly again. I think Aquari, obviously it's Sonya, it's demo, could potentially happen, but realistically, I just don't see Foxy losing this.
Okay, cool. So that's going to be game number one. Game number two is going to be, if I can go down, Stozen and Junimanene. I'm actually really excited for this matchup because I think the fair pick for Stozen will probably be full auto first. But I mean, Scorpion gets around projectiles really well. Stozen, though, has got some really sick Jackie tech. There aren't many Scorpions in CIS anymore. Flet used to play Scorpion back in the day and then changed. Junimanene been rocking Scorpion the whole time, really. Bear in mind, he took out Irish Madness too. Irish Madness is still going to walk away with 10 points this week, so he's still in a great situation to be one of those international entrants for the Pro League finals. But Stozen, I mean, if he wins this, he's going to put himself up quite comfortably. We saw Junimanene in Challenger Cup give us a really good display. But I mean, Stozen, he's a patient player, isn't he? He's a very patient player. And one thing you will tell immediately by watching Junimanene play is that he is not patient. So I think if Stozen just plays carefully, it could be a repeat of basically Junimanene just handing himself to Stozen. You know, we've seen it a lot where he's got some really, really sick plays and some really sick pressure, but in the neutral, he'll just teleport out of nowhere, meter band teleport out of nowhere, jump in when he shouldn't, and it's just, I hope he doesn't do that tomorrow.
Yeah, well, this is an important week for them both. I mean, really, realistically, from what we've seen of Junimanene, he is a very fast, like you said, very read-based player. That's a comment we made when we watched him in the Challenger Cup. He definitely plays with his gut a lot more than he does on reactions. But at the same time, this is an important match for them both. Stossen is in a good position to maybe get a chunk of points to climb up the ladder. Junimanene had a top 8 showing earlier on and hasn't really done much since. So if he can have a big win this week, that's going to put him in a good place. He did defeat Irish Madness to get top 8. So obviously he's put Irish Madness in a little bit of a precarious situation by being here. So I think it's really important for them both, but I think Stossen's going to pull it out just because we've seen Stossen deal with the type of play we see from Junimanene. We have seen Stossen deal with before.
Yeah, I mean, I think the matchup, Scorpion does well versus Jackie, in my opinion. I don't see Scorpion struggling against full auto, but we know that Stossen plays a really sick shotgun as well, just in case the projectile stuff
I shouldn't imagine he'll go full auto for it. I should think he'll go straight to shotgun.
Okay, so game number 3.
Oh, this one though.
Sacron and Yuppei. So Yuppei, we haven't seen him for a while, and he's finally managed to get back in. Yuppei took out Boki as well.
That was a big win for Boki. That was a big win for Yuppei, even beating Boki, because Boki's in a good position to getting steady points. He's not really making it past top 8. Boki and Storm are kind of in the same position, so the fact that Yuppei managed to stop Boki from making top 8 this week was a big deal for him, absolutely.
Well, look, we're in week 6, so it's now not a matter of just trying to get as many points as you can. It's about trying to make sure by defeating and hoping that your competition, who has the same kind of points as you, fall and fail and don't make it as far as you do. You know, Irish Madness, the best thing he could have hoped for is Boki going out before top 8, because Madness has more points than Boki. Boki's still kind of near him, but by Boki not getting top 8 as well this week means that they're still in that neutral ground. Yuppei getting top 8 is good for him. However, it's been a while since we've seen him in a top 8, so he really needs these points.
He really needs to win. That's the thing. Yuppei can't just take this top 8. He needs to get to semis, and dare I say, he even needs to make a grand final appearance to be in a good position to making the finals, because we've seen him in top 8 before. but he really hasn't got as much points as his competition right now. Sacron, on the other hand, is looking pretty much guaranteed for the finals. But we do know that Yuppie did lose quite convincingly to Arzu, and I would say Sacron's Katana is about on the same level as Arzu. I'm not going to say it's better or not, because I know they both play Katana in a very similar way. Let's be honest, they are very, very, very similar when they play this character.
CIS has Katana unlocked for
Yes.
sure.
And I think if Sacron goes Katana, we might see Yuppie struggle. I hope he's looked up on it, because we know Sacron's the kind of player that clearly does his homework before these Wednesday sets based on the picks he goes for, the adjustments he makes. We know Sacron pays attention to these top eights. And I know Yuppie, it's Kano. We're going to see Kano out of him, absolutely. It'll probably be Cutthroat, because that's the strongest right now. I think he's just... I really hope Yuppie is studied up on the Katana matchup, because as much as I would love him to win, if he is about as uncomfortable as he was earlier in the season, he is going to seriously struggle against Sacron here. And for that reason, my prediction goes to Sacron, not because Yuppie's bad or because I don't think Yuppie can win. I just think Sacron's Katana might give him the same problems we saw Arzu's Katana give him.
Well, yeah, I agree with that. We could always see Yuppie have done his homework, on the matchup. But again, it's tricky. EU has no katanas really competitively that really kind of sit with the top CIS katanas, because we just don't see the consistency there, And that sounds like a bold statement, but we just don't see those players, They may kick around online, but when it comes to playing in this competitive setting, it's not so easy, really. So game number 4 is going to be Storm and Madzin, kind of like a typical Season 2 match, really. Storm's had a real hard time. It's a really weird story with Storm, because he's been one of the most consistent top 8 places in this international Pro League.
In Season 3 in general, man. Like, not even just EU. Like, in the whole Season 3, he's most consistent in making top 8, but that's where it ends.
He's right there with Madden and Foxy when it comes to getting consistent top 8, but he just doesn't seem to play very well in the top 8. Like, when he actually finally gets into the top 8, I mean, I know it sounds like we're putting the poor guy on blast, but he'll say the same thing. He'll admit it. Like, he gets into top 8, but then he kind of loses his clutch almost. Like, he just seems to make some bad decisions, gets flustered. His defense can be a little bit weak, and it's like, although he's making all these top 8s, and by pure consistency, he should be one of these really comfortable in there players to go to the finals. Even though he's made all these top 8s, he's in jeopardy. I mean, he can still get overtaken by the more consistent, higher placing players. And again, he finds himself having to fight Madzin, who will smother you. Like, Madzin, especially when he plays Grandmaster, he has a very, very bully-like game plan, where he will bully you into the corner, and he'll smother you in the corner until you lose. So, I mean, Storm will be familiar with the Grandmaster matchup by now. I mean, a lot of Europe is familiar with the match, but I think that it's going to be tricky. Madsen's going to be more comfortable going into this because he nowhere near needs the points as much as Storm does. But I do think Madsen could take this if Storm continues to kind of have, I suppose, the defense that he's had in previous weeks.
Yeah, I mean, that really is what it boils down to, is just Storm hasn't been having a terrific showing this season. He's making top 8 like no one else, but he's just not playing well when he gets there. But that's the bit that confuses me, because from what I've been told from people that have fought him pre-top 8, he plays like his normal self. He is the comeback king. He has all the clutch he used to have in the other seasons when he's not on top 8. But it's when he gets here, that's where he has the problems. And like you said, Madsen's probably going to be picking Grandmaster. Madsen's very comfortable. Madsen is used to this. And I don't know. I just feel like it would be a little bit naive of me to predict Storm here, just based on what we've seen. I know, don't get me wrong, I love the guy. We're mates. Storm knows that this is never a personal knock on him, but going purely by how we've seen him play in Season 3, I just don't feel like I can put my prediction in him, because he did take out Use for Glue this week. Storm didn't have an easy path by any means, but at the same time, Madsen had to take out Krathen again, Mitsu owns, so I don't know. These other players that are under Storm in points are losing pre-top 8, but I just can't help but see that Storm's going to be walking away with another 25 points.
Okay, so that's going to be the EU/CIS side. Let's get on to North America. Game number 1, I think this is. Yeah, it is. Is going to be Aura versus Gunshare. Now, this was a weird week because Aura took out Jago Blake. So he took out Jago Blake and Big D. Who did Big D have to take out? Big D had 2, if I can find it. Big D beat Sonic Fox and Killstreak. So Big D actually defeated Sonic Fox this week. However, he actually lost in the final stages to get into top 8, and he lost to Aura, who, for those that may not know, is a Reptile player. So he did lose to Aura. So it's huge props, man, for Big D taking out Sonic Fox. It's just, I really would have loved to have seen him in top 8. But Aura taking out Jacob Blake and Big D to do it, I mean, that's commendable by itself.
Aura just has a very tidy Reptile. That's the thing about Aura.
He does.
It's not
very,
just,
very
and
neat.
it's very, very neat. Yeah, that is the word. It's just, it's well optimized. It fits the meta now, and it just works. And that's what I get when I see Aura. So if Aura plays consistent, he'll be fine. But he is going to be fighting. Actually, recently acquired by Noble Gunshow. Used to see this guy for CR, but Gunshow's had quite an interesting season. He's beaten Slayer before in the Kungjin Mirror. He's been a very decent player online and off for a long time.
He's very, very underrated, I think. No one really talks about him, but he really is one of those pocket, just unbelievable players.
So,
but I mean, yeah, Wound Cowboy and Upcakes this week.
I do find it quite odd to predict this though, because not only have I never seen these guys play each other, Noxious Reptile versus Shaolin Kongjin, or even Killer.
Never seen that match.
Could be Killer Leatherface, for all we know. I've not seen that before, so I don't know how the matchup goes on paper. I would think that... It's hard to say, because a lot of stuff that Kongjin will tend to do will be... I don't want to say the wrong thing here, but Reptile Dash punishes a lot that doesn't normally get punished.
Are you saying, is there any chance that Shaolin might get punished by Reptile Dash?
I'm not sure, but I think it could do, because the Reptile...
It's tricky to call this matchup. It's tricky to call this one.
I just think that the Reptile Meteor Bone Claw, the launcher, I feel like that's going to do a lot of work, because that is safe, isn't it? I'm pretty sure the Meteor Bone Claw is safe.
No, it can be punished.
Can it? How hard is it?
Regular one is safe.
Okay.
Meteor Burn 1 is unsafe, right. I believe.
So even if it is unsafe, we do not see that move consistently punished when we see Reptile play in tournament. It's a tough punish, for sure. But even if it is, and we see that's one thing I noticed from Aura, his use of Meteor Burn Launcher, because last time I saw him play was against Scar last week for top 8, and that set came down to the absolute wire. But he got a lot of mileage out of that reversal. So if he's on point with his reversal against someone like Shaolin that does have gaps in places he didn't used to have gaps, thanks to the Chakram return and the way that got adjusted, that could give Gunshow some problems. But that's even if he goes with Kung Jin, he could go Leatherface. So I'd say if Aura's playing as well as I've seen him for the past couple of weeks, I think he might be able to take it, but it would be silly to count out Gunshow.
Okay, so game number 2 is going to be Red Raptor and Vendetta. So Vendetta, I believe, hasn't been in the top 8 since week 1 or 2. I can't remember. But it's been a while since I've seen Vendetta in the top 8.
Last time we saw him was when he fought the Broodmother.
Yeah, made it in the top 5 plays he did. So Vendetta, he's a really good stun double player. Really, really good stun double player. I believe he plays A-list as well, I think.
I think he's just a Cage main throughout. I'm pretty sure I've seen him playing both. Cage.
Red Raptor, you know him by now. This guy's a ridiculously good Takeda player. I mean, he could be the best Takeda for now. I mean, he's just so consistent, and he takes out some of the strongest players in the world with Takeda. I mean, it's a fantastic player.
Well, he also
had to beat Dr. Stabs. Yeah,
I was about to say the exact same thing.
Vendetta had to take out Beyond Toxin and Game Time. So Toxin, ever so slightly short of that top 8 space, but he's got good points as well. But he really needs one more top 8 to be comfortable, I think, especially with how many players are actually sneaking their way into top 8s now. Vendetta versus Red Raptor, though. Vendetta could definitely take this because it's going to be general Takeda versus Johnny Cage. Takeda doesn't really have the easiest time dealing with the pressure and stuff. I mean, the reversal game.
Actually, this matchup I've heard described both ways. I've heard from people before that...
Well, it's weird, right?
Takeda gets destroyed by Cage because he hasn't got the answers for his pressure. But then at the same time, I've also heard people say, nah, man, Takeda destroys Johnny Cage. He has no range. He can't get in. He's just got to hold the back 2-1. He's just got to hold 2-1.
They both have really good mids. They both have good advancing mids, especially seeing as the down 1 buffs that apply to a lot of characters, having their low poke sped up. It's weird. I mean, like, when Cage gets in, there's a lot of elements of Takeda probably gonna have to hold some of that pressure. But I mean, in the neutral, Johnny Cage forward 3 is great, but forward 1, 2, 4 is better, in my opinion. Like, the ability to just throw that out, and if it's on block, just do a safe kunai, or meter burn kunai to be plus. Or if it hits, just hit confirm with the teleport, get a full combo. Like, that is a good answer.
I just think
that is a good answer for Cage.
I just think we're going to see Red Raptor pull this one through, because Vendetta's great. He is a good player, but Red Raptor is just playing so amazing in top 8 every week. Like, we see this guy doesn't choke. He has amazing clutch plays. He has great optimization, wonderful reactions. Like, just Red Raptor is quite possibly one of the most impressive players in Season 3 for MKX, I think.
He just turned up and started winning. It's great to see. Right, so yeah, cool. Game number 3 is going to be Scar and Hayate. I'm very excited for this. This isn't the first time that Hayate and Red Raptor have been the 2 Takedas in top 8 either.
Oh, hello.
So Scar, he's been very sort of. I'm fairly certain he's going to be sticking with Sonya. I don't know whether he feels like he's playing too many characters, but I believe we're probably going to see some Sonya stuff, because he's going to lose. He's going to end up actually losing some of his spots. I mean, he's almost a complete lock, really, to have a lot of points, but it's the seeding. I mean, he still wants to be consistent, because you don't want to not have that level of seeding when you're playing for 200k. Hayate, I don't know if everyone watching this will know, but Hayate is kind of...
He is the best Ronin player on the planet.
He is the Ronin Takeda. He's used Ronin since day one, even when it was lacking. And even when it was lacking, he believed that Ronin was very strong. Like, he's a very, very good player. And he's made top 8s before. He's taken out players like Slayer before. And even in his path this time, he had to beat Slayer and DJT. So that's not the first time he's taken out Slayer in tournament.
He was the Yomi Gatekeeper this week. And obviously Scar had Kevin the Man, Destroyer, who did really well last week. Destroyer
the Dragon.
Away. Corey the Dragon, yeah. I honestly don't know how to call this one. Scar, again, plays amazingly well in every top 8.
I don't think Ronin does bad versus Sonya, personally.
He's had a few shortcomings in certain matchups, I know. But honestly, I would pin a lot of that down to Scar just not sticking with Sonya. Because Scar has even said on Twitter and stuff after the sets, like, I'm not comfortable changing this many characters. I'm just sticking with Sonya. Bam. I think Demo's fine, and I'm just going to play her. So I predict that this week we are going to see him stick with Sonya exclusively. But again, Hayate is... You said before about Gunshow being one of the most slept-on, underrated players. I'm not going to say Hayate is slept on, because he won Canada Cup. Everyone knows this guy's good. But we haven't seen him in a while, and I know a lot of people watching won't have seen him before. And he is phenomenal, and Ronin is a very strong
homework, though. I mean, Scar knows who Hayate is for sure. I think this definitely is going to be one of those sets where I'm not going to call it. I think it's absolutely going to go either way, but I do feel like Ronin doesn't really do bad versus Sonya. You can keep her out, you can zone her, you can armor break as well. I mean,
our prediction, you could say, is going to be 3-2. We just don't know in which way it's going to go.
3-2. I foresee a 3-2 set, but Hayate could definitely pull it out. Final game of the night is going to be Forever King and Dragon, though. So this is going to be... Forever King had to take out Katana Prime. Mainly, the only sort of like humongous noble player there is Katana Prime. Apparently it was I think Katana Prime was 2-0 up, I think, if Twitter is right. I mean, I could be wrong, but I think he was 2-0 up, and then King made the reverse
Dragon
3-0.
taking out White Boy, but just before top 8, though, so White Boy could have had his second top 8 showing.
Took out Calf and White Boy together. Really, really, really strong showing there. And, I mean, he's in a good situation. I mean, he's pretty much...
Dragon's making the finals. There's no way Dragon's
sure.
not going to be there, absolutely. Forever King in a good position to make it if he can get consistent. He had a very close set with Dragon last week, or the week before, I can't remember. Basically, the last time they fought, and it was in the finals, it was super close. Like, Forever King is definitely... He had a bit of a character crisis. I think his main issue was all the characters... Okay, and I'm going to say this now, because this is something you have to keep in mind. We have 2 players here who are... both incredibly talented, and I mean this in no disrespectful way, but these guys like top tier characters. They
like playing good characters.
Yomi Forever King, they like top tier characters, and you can't deny that. Ever since Forever King especially, ever since MK9, Forever King has picked characters that the community has deemed broken, top tier, annoying, all that standard, just generic whinging, right? But Forever King has embraced that. He's gone, right, well, if the community's not ready for this character, I'm going to play it. But then at the same time, and obviously Dragon started off with Ermac, went straight to Tanya. He was amazing with Tanya, but then this sort of leads me on to the point that I was about to make. When you do what these guys do, and you play top tier exclusively, you will be prone to the nerf bat. Your characters will get nerfed. Your characters will get toned down. What do you do as a player who you could say mains top tier? You don't have a character, you just main whoever is top tier at the time or considered top tier. When that character gets nerfed, what do? You can go to the new top tiers if they're considered that way, or if you get on with them, or you could use that as an opportunity to explore some other characters. Now, I feel like Dragon and Forever King went two different directions here. Dragon went to Alien because the community was complaining about Alien a lot. Obviously, Alien's got the wreckers, and Dragon is really good with wrecker characters in NOS games. But even then, like when you watch him play Tarkhan, you understand that Dragon has a firm grasp on how to play MKX. He understands the game. He's really good at it. His fundamentals are actually quite on point. His anti-cross-ups are brilliant. His anti-airs are always strong. His reads on armor are great. His reads on your wake up, his meaty pressure, he's got it all. And Forever King's much of the same. However, Forever King had a bit of a gap in between picking a new character, and now he's obviously settled on. He likes War God, who's not really a top tier character, but a very strong one. Acidic Alien, he's played a bunch as well. So I feel like Forever King has now settled down, which is why he's able to compete with all the good players again, because he's actually stuck to a few characters now instead of just playing whoever he felt like we saw him for the past couple months.
Okay, cool. So, I mean, that could definitely easily be a 3-2 set again. Dragon has less pressure on him, so he could easily take it. But Forever King, he's not going to crack at this point. He knows how close he is. He knows how many points he has to get, and he's definitely, he will rise up to this situation, I think. So, that's that. Cheers, guys. We will see you tomorrow, and have a good night. See you later. Take care.